All right, we got college football playoff talk. We got some Heisman, maybe a little bit. We got the NBA play-in, or not the play-in, the NBA in-season tournament. We got the NFL. We got everything going on. It's a really crazy Monday. It's Past the Rock.
Could one of y'all pass the gosh darn rock? Hey yo, I'm trying, I ain't lying, and hosting this will be Brian.
Yeah.
Posting like Kobe Bryant,
Yeah.
flying to see the pie.
Yeah.
Hit the hezzy, we got Jesse, opinions get kinda messy. A fan of out of Letties, from football to racing jet skis. He go silly when he go deep, sheesh, is Zach Zeman. Teaming up with Jack, we stack the whole team, man. Pass the rock, don't stop the shot clock.
Woo.
Smack the slap shot, come on, now let's talk. Pass the, yo partner, pass the rock, for real.
Ooh, already got some hot takes coming in in our Discord about who's going to win the college football playoff. I will say this: Wisconsin and LSU playing in Tampa, New Year's Day. If you happen to be up at around noon, you can watch that. I'm sure there'll be plenty better games to go. What do you think of that matchup, Jack?
I mean, it should be fun. We're gonna get spanked. I mean, I'm not expecting anything less. Honestly, if we lose by less than 30, I'll be happy. But look, it's fun to have a little rivalry with you, Brian, on New Year's Day.
Exactly. LSU leads the all-time series 3-1, but Wisconsin won the last one, which was actually played in Lambeau Field about 5 years ago. But kind of quirky and weird. Over to you, Zach. I'll let you vent. I'll give you 22 seconds to vent about your Eagles.
Look, honestly, there's not a whole lot to say about the Eagles. Our defense just kind of got exposed the entire night by Deebo Samuel for the most part. But, I mean, hey, we're talking about college football. Let's talk about that a little bit more. Very excited I was dreaming of Pop-Tarts, now going to be dreaming of Mayo, West Virginia, UNC, in the Duke Mayo Bowl. Pretty excited about that. Also happening on my sister's birthday. So happy birthday to her. You get West Virginia football.
Yeah, sounds like you got to be hyped to see Neil Brown get dumped in Mayo, right?
Dude, I am so excited to see Neil Brown dumped in Mayo. You have no idea how excited I am for that.
Is this something I'm too Canadian to understand?
Definitely.
Yes.
Is it the winning coach?
The winning coach gets dumped in Mayo after the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Although
not even the best Mayo.
Yeah, but to be fair, with how the college football playoff selection panned out, they didn't have enough teams to fill up, I think, for like the SEC. So West Virginia was traded to a different bowl that's not a Big 12 bowl. So we're probably never going to be seeing the Duke's Mayo Bowl ever again, and that's because of how the college football playoff turned out.
If West Virginia wins 6 every year, they should go to the Mayo Bowl. It's just perfect for West Virginia. Anyway, Jesse, we won't ask you any college football playoff questions, so just sit tight. We're looking forward to seeing you and everything you got planned for us today. True or false, Jack? True or false? FSU was robbed of a spot in the top 4.
False. I understand why Florida State fans would be angry. They have a right to be angry. Undefeated, 13-0, won their conference championship. You're a Power 5 team. It's unprecedented that an undefeated conference champion has missed the playoffs. So I understand their right to be angry. But the most important thing about the college football playoff is getting the best 4 teams in. And what they did with the way the bracket shaped out with Michigan, Washington, Texas, and Alabama got the best 4 teams into the playoff. Florida State is not the same team that they were when they had Jordan Travis. They did not look good in that game against Louisville, even though they won it. The fact of the matter is the best 4 teams will be on the field, and that is what's important at the end of the day.
Zach?
Yeah, I'm going to say true, FSU was 100% robbed of a spot in the top 4. Not only did the AP poll, the final AP poll before the college football playoffs, show FSU in the top 4. Like Jack said, they went 13-0. They won their conference championship. Yes, they lost their starting quarterback, but that does not take away from the rest of the team. The rest of them got absolutely robbed of this appearance. And honestly, it just shows that the committee cares less about actual results than what they think is just, this will make us the most money. This will generate the most ratings. We're going to put Alabama in because of the big brand name, and they have at least a claim to this spot. FSU deserved that spot outright, and I think they got absolutely robbed.
Two things. A, Jack, I need to get an intern next time you have to move your camera because now I'm feeling queasy. But B, I think you're right about FSU, and I think by the time we get to the 1st of January and we get 2 games that we really want to see, we're not going to care one bit about FSU. And that's too bad. That's why they're going to 12 teams, because you don't care if the 13th team gets screwed. You care if the 4th one gets screwed. So really quickly though, was Georgia a fraud all season, or were they more deserving of maybe one of those spots at the bottom?
I mean, if I'm being completely honest, I think they're the second best team in the country, and I think Alabama's the best. Alabama's my pick to win it all right now. I think that they're gonna. I'm happy they got in because I think they're going to prove why they deserve to be there. And I think that Bama-Georgia game was an unbelievable game. I think Georgia looked about as good as I expected them to. And I think it's unfair to call them frauds for losing a close game against a really good football team. And if like I said before, the 4 best teams in the country were in the playoff, I'm not sure that I agree with that. I think Georgia might be a better team than Texas for sure, and be more deserving. But obviously, you couldn't put them in over Texas because it gets way complicated because of the Texas win over Bama. But
right.
I think that Georgia, it really is a great team. And I'm not going to say they were robbed, but they may be one of the 4 best teams in the country. We won't see them in the playoff.
Yeah. Yeah. No, look, Georgia had a problem the last month of the season where they would get in these holes. They'd go down 14-0, 10-0, whatever. Up until the Alabama game, they had been, coming back and winning pretty handily anyway. But Alabama's peaking at the right time. I hate to see it because I do not want to see Nick Saban win another one. But I think you're right. I think Michigan got a little screwed by having to play them first. So, all right, let's do a little NBA trivia. Over to you, Jesse.
But just before we do that, I just want to say, imagine if the NFL worked the same way as college football, where the Jets beat the Eagles, and since the Patriots beat the Jets, the Patriots are better than the Eagles, and they get to go into the playoffs. So,
and the Saints beat the Patriots, so we're better than the Eagles too. Everybody's better than the Eagles.
Yeah. So it would be pretty crazy if that's how it worked. All right, we're gonna go to some NBA before we spend the rest of the evening back on the gridiron. So, can you name the 4 teammates of Kobe Bryant still in the NBA today? There are a few honorable mentions. If you get those right, you'll get a pat on the back, nothing else. But there are 4 still in the NBA.
Okay, Jack, before you take all of them, because I know you probably know them, I'm pretty sure I know one, and I'm going to say...
Let me have one each.
Okay, D'Angelo Russell.
D'Angelo Russell is correct.
Brandon Ingram?
Brandon Ingram was drafted the year after Kobe retired. They actually never shared the floor. But that's a close one.
All right. I've got 2 ideas.
I only want one.
Okay. I'll take Julius Randle. I know that for sure.
Oh.
Big Randle.
That was one I was going to say. Oh.
Yeah, all right. So you got Randle and you got Russell. 2 more.
Who else was in the... Oh, Lonzo Ball.
No.
He was after Ingram?
No, he was after Ingram, yeah.
Okay. I knew he was a year off, but I'm just going through Pelicans-Lakers trades mostly.
Zach, anything?
He's not in the league anymore, but I was going to say Jeremy Lin. I know he's not in the league
Jeremy Lin is one of the honorable mentions I got on here for recently retired, so he's one of them.
I think
what
I might.
Great 3 weeks that was. By the way,
give me one of them, Jack.
Well, Jordan Clarkson for sure.
Jordan Clarkson of the Utah Jazz. He looks a lot different than when he played with Kobe, but he is one of them. All right, last one. Brian, you should actually know this.
That confirms my suspicion that I know who it is.
You should definitely know this, Brian.
I should have known Julius Randle. Now that I'm thinking about it, because he was a Pelican for a year as well.
I'll give you a hint. He's a Pelican.
Well, I figured by you should know this. Let's see. Who's old on our team? We don't have a lot of old guys. It's not JV. It's not McCollum. Damn. Oh. Cody Zeller.
No.
Jack, who is it?
Larry Nance.
Larry Nance.
Larry Nance Jr. is correct. He is the last
the
one
other.
that's still in the NBA. Other honorable mentions? Any guesses for recently retired?
I mean, Dwight.
Yeah, Dwight.
Dwight was
Um,
not on here, but yeah, he is. That is one.
Well, he's not retired though. He's not retired. He's
yeah.
still playing overseas.
Who else was on those like random Laker teams at the end of his career? That's where you got to look.
Yeah.
Just random scrap piles of NBA.
Oh, you mean it's not Shaq or Robert Ory?
There's one guy that always comes up in the names when we're talking about people who've been around the league, especially the Western Conference.
You know what? I'm just gonna guess was Omri Caspi a teammate?
No, it was not one.
I was thinking like Andrew Bynum.
No, these are more recent. These guys all retired in the last like 2 years, probably. 2 3
Really?
years.
Huh.
Jack, one of
Vince
them was
Carter?
a Laker like last year.
Oh, what? Oh, Wayne Ellington.
Yeah, Wayne Ellington. That's one of them.
Wayne Ellington
I think
was
sorry,
teammates with
there was
Kobe?
actually another Laker on here as well from a year or two ago.
Oh no, Rondo wasn't there when Kobe was there. So someone that went back to the Lakers, that was there when Kobe was there. This is gonna kill me. Because we had a couple, whatever that year that Wayne Ellington was there, we had a couple guys that had left and come back.
So he was on the Lakers in 2014 and then again in 2021 to 22.
Oh boy.
With a couple teams in between, including the Blazers, the Warriors, the Kings.
Oh man. I don't know if I know.
While Jack was thinking, I know he didn't play with Kobe, but shout out to Lakers legend Andre Ingram.
Shout out to the 30-year-old rookie. All right, Jack, your time is up. It's Kent Bazemore.
Ah, yes.
And the rest of the ones on the list, Lemon Pepper Lou Will, and Jeremy Lin. Trevor Ariza. Was the last one. All right, so yeah, good job. That was pretty easy. Brian, come on, man. Larry Nance.
Yeah, I went through all the old guys. Larry Nance is hurt right now, so he's off my radar. And Cody Zeller's getting way too many minutes, just FYI. More on that at a different time.
More on that at a different time. Let's talk about Monday Night Football. Got a fun matchup here.
Yeah, Bengals Jaguars. Jags favored by 10, which is like it's like a couple of weeks ago when the Commanders were favored by like 8 against the Giants. And you're like, how can that team be favored by that much? Over under is only 40. Okay, just keep that in mind when we do our picks later. So Travis Etienne expected to play. Does he get above the Podna line, which is 15 points in PPR? Zach.
Man, Etienne has been really great all season in fantasy, but I'm actually going to lean the under. I do like the Bengals' defensive line a lot. I think they're going to be able to stop some of those big plays that Etienne's been having all season. Plus, the fact that he's questionable makes it, yes, he's expected to play, but that questionability with that ribs injury, always a chance he can re-aggravate that injury, be taken out sooner than you'd expect. I'm going to lean the under for the Podna line.
All right. Jack, who do you trust more, Christian Kirk or Calvin Ridley?
I mean, based on the last few weeks, I think I have to say Ridley. He's been super good lately. The last 2-3 weeks, he's sort of remembered how to catch the football, which has helped out a lot. And I mean, he's been getting himself open all year. He's just had some really bad drops. He's been eliminating that a little bit more. Lawrence is starting to feel more comfortable with him. And I think he keeps it rolling. I think I would roll with him.
All right, Jesse, you're like our quarterback whisperer. So Jake Browning, over under 0.5 touchdowns.
I think he gets it done. I think he gets one in. It might be off a tipped ball. Who knows? But I think he gets one touchdown. It might be on the ground for all we know. But I trust him to get one. With that receiving core, it's a little of a Brock Purdy situation, to be honestly. If you have Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase, surely someone can throw a touchdown on that team. So, yeah, Jake Browning, he should get at least one touchdown tonight. I would be surprised if it was 2. So give me over 0.5. Not asking for much.
So Jamar Chase last week had a big catch from Browning off of a tip. So I do like I don't know what the odds are for a tip touchdown, but they're probably
He
really
had two
good.
tipped passes that were caught.
Oh, did he?
For like a good chunk of his yardage for the entire
Right.
day.
All right. Well,
So
if you
let's hope for
can
another.
take the tip ball touchdown for Jamar Chase, that might be pretty good. So going back to you, Zach, Jamar Chase over under 69.5 yards.
Oh man, this is something that like you would think just like, oh, easy under, it's Jake Browning, but I'm gonna go with the over. I think that they're going to, how like the 49ers, very much get those check downs, then yards after catch. I think it's going to be kind of the same game plan for the Bengals here. Don't make Jake Browning throw the ball too deep. Don't risk him making mistakes with dumb passes. Just keep it short, keep it with checkdowns, just have him be a game manager, and then those yards after carry. So they will feed Jamar just with short passes.
So you're going low on Travis Etienne, you're going high on Jamar Chase. So obviously you're picking the Bengals.
I am not picking the Bengals. I am picking the Jacksonville Jaguars to win 21-13. As much as I think that Jamar Chase could probably go over with his yard total, I think the under will definitely hit in total points scored. Bengals have a sneaky solid defense to, make the Jaguars work a little bit harder than you'd expect. But the Bengals probably won't get anything going on offense. So I see it being a fairly low-scoring game, but the Jaguars come out on top.
Yeah, I think it's low scoring too. I have it 24-14 Jags, so that's under the 40-point total. But our friends here both like a high scoring game. Jack.
Yeah, I mean, the Jaguars offense has been humming the last 2 weeks ever since that 49ers game where it was not humming, let's say. But the 2 games since then, they've looked quite good. I think they keep it rolling. The Bengals obviously severely depleted without Joe Burrow. And I think the Jaguars just take advantage. I think that I've got Jaguars 30, Bengals 17. I feel like the Bengals offense can do something because I think sort of like what Jesse said. I mean, someone's got to score on that team. It's too talented not to. But I think the Jaguars offense looks too good for the Bengals tonight, and that'll decide it.
Well, for everyone, doing their PSAT homework at home, humming is the antonym or the opposite of not humming.
Yeah.
That's what Jack says.
Yeah.
All right.
No.
Going back to you, Jesse, for your pick.
Yeah, the more you know, I guess. I'm going to take Jags 27, Bengals 16. I just changed it from Bengals 17 because I don't think that they're going to get 2 touchdowns. I think they get 1 touchdown. It's Jake Browning to Jamar Chase. Thank you very much for my fantasy team. And then they kick 3 other field goals. Evan McPherson's got a leg. I think he gets probably some 40 to 50-yard field goals tonight. They're not getting very far into Jags territory. So 3 field goals and a touchdown for the boys in orange. But Jags cover at 11 points. So give me the Jags.
Big deal. Big deal. Let's do a few questions around the NFL, starting with you, Jesse. Are we worried about the Chiefs after they lose to a sub-500 team with Tay-Tay in the house?
With Big T-Swizz, I mean, it's pretty crazy to see Travis Kelce have his first no-show with his girl in the house. I mean, this was just honestly probably the worst the Chiefs offense has looked all year outside of the Broncos game. And they just had nothing going. Lots of trash calls at the end of the game going both ways, but I think that they evened each other out because 1, that was not a penalty on Mahomes, and 2, it definitely was a PI, but an eye for an eye. So I am worried about the Chiefs at this point. They've been not playing very well as of late. The concerns about the offense are coming true as we see Tyreek Hill scoring 60 and 70-yard touchdowns every Sunday, and they're struggling to find the offense. Isaiah Pacheco looked great. That's about it. That's about it for the Chiefs. The defense was doing all right, but I mean, Jordan Love was balling. He had a near perfect game as you can against the Chiefs. So I am a little bit worried about the Chiefs at this point. I think going into January, you still feel good knowing you have Big Red and Mahomes in that defense. But I think the time for concern has never been more pressing because this is bad. Losing to Green Bay on primetime like that by 8, that's bad. With T-Swizz in the house.
Yeah, I mean, she's going to lose interest pretty soon. She's already started to write the breakup song, I think. Jack, over to you, since you're such a lover of the 49ers and the Eagles couldn't do this. What is your last-ditch effort to stop that offense?
You got to call up that Chargers team doctor that was there in Justin Herbert's rookie year who punctured Tyrod Taylor's lung. That's the only way you're stopping the 49ers is if by some miracle for the rest of the league, there's some brutal injury to a key part of that team. This team is unstoppable. At full strength, I don't see any team beating them. They had their skid earlier in the year due to injury, right? Purdy got banged up. Then he got back. Trent Williams was out a couple games. Deebo Samuel was out a couple games. That's when this team is vulnerable. But as long as they're all healthy, I don't think anyone's stopping them. I think they're going to ride this thing all the way to the Super Bowl if they can keep it on the field.
Over to you, Zach. Of all the losses the Patriots have had this year, is this the most embarrassing one this week?
Oh, man, there's a really good case for it. I mean, it's been a rough season for Jesse watching these Patriots. But, I mean, just the way, oh my God, the 6-0 loss. I mean, it's tough. I feel like you look at these past 2 weeks and pick either one. I mean, to lose on a shanked field goal or to just not score any points whatsoever in a lethargic game. Pick your poison. It's got to be one of those two, unless, Jesse, you have a different opinion.
I kind of wore this as a shirt of shame today for the show because it's just getting ridiculous at this point. First off, how did this team beat the Bills? Like, actually how? And it seems like they hang in there with the Dolphins and the Eagles when we play them at the start of the season. 0 points on the Chargers. I think losing 6-0 for the first time in 85 years that the team has lost 3 straight games, allowing less than 10 points. I think this has to be the crown jewel of embarrassing losses for the Patriots. I don't think it gets any worse. There was the 35-0 shutout and the 38-3 to Dallas. There's been a 10-7, a 10-6, but I think losing 6-0 and still covering the +6.5 spread is the most embarrassing loss for the Patriots. Honestly, I said last week the Chargers would find a way to lose that game. They would have if the Patriots could have scored once. So that hands down was the most embarrassing loss of the season.
I have a bonus question for you, Jesse. What is the over-under going to be for Thursday Night Football, Patriots against the Steelers without Kenny Pickett?
18.
Yeah.
It should honestly be 18 because it's going to finish 10-7 and be that low scoring.
Yeah, I might take
or
the
10-6. Yeah.
It might legitimately be in like the high 20s. I could see this being like in the high 20s for the spread.
That's an easy
I'm trying to
under.
find it. Give me a second.
Yeah.
It is
watch.
30. It's
30.
Under. Oh my
30.
God.
This is going to be the game that Mac Jones. Actually, I don't know if Mac Jones is starting it, but this is going to be the game that the Patriots offense comes to life, and the Steelers and the Patriots have like a 31-30 shootout on Thursday Night Football, game of the year, because both of these offenses are just off the rails bad right now. It's like 2 negatives make a positive, and then just insane things happen.
The real question is going to be how bored is Al Michaels going to be on Thursday night?
Okay, I will say Patriots Steelers justifies Al Michaels' reaction to the games.
Yeah,
if he calls every game as if it was Pat's Steelers on Thursday night.
He does. He's so uninterested. He's totally mailed it in. All right, Zach, did this Miami win tell you anything you didn't know already about the Dolphins?
Sorry, give me 1 second. I don't know if there's really much else to say about the Dolphins. I mean, this is exactly what we expected from them. I mean, yeah, like, okay, Tua threw the ball deep to Tyreek 2 times, and that's kind of what we expect. If anything, the only thing I really learned from this Dolphins game is that Tyreek Hill should be an MVP favorite. The quarterback play has just not been great enough to cover that up. I think Tyreek Hill should be the MVP frontrunner at this point. He's having a phenomenal season. He's going to get 2,000 yards any week now. That's really the main takeaway from the Dolphins game. I mean, they played the Commanders. Their defense shined more than I expected, but it's still like, okay, the offense were the real juggernauts of that game.
Jack, Cowboys, Dolphins, Jaguars. Everybody says they haven't won a big game all year. They're just beating up on the lesser competition. Do you put anything into that theory?
I mean, I think it's fair to say you got to see it to believe it, right? I mean, any decent team can beat up on bad competition, but you're right. I think playing against a big team is like getting that win is something that is key as far as putting stock into an NFL team as far as if they're going to be a Super Bowl contender, because like in order to make a deep run, you're going to have to beat some of these teams. So I think it's very fair criticisms of all three of those teams. I does that mean I would be surprised if come playoff time the Cowboys are able to make a run or the Jaguars or Dolphins are able to make a run? No, but I think as far as like who I'm gonna pick to win the Super Bowl, I might be avoiding those three teams for that reason.
I just don't think the Jaguars should be grouped in here because they've beat 4 teams over 500 in the last like 6 weeks when the Dolphins haven't done that once in the last 2 years. So the Jaguars, they beat the Colts, they beat the Texans, they beat up on some other teams. And look, the Steelers, say what you want, they were 7-3 when the Jaguars beat them. So they might not be the best of the best. They beat the Bills in London. I know people say that might not account it, but I just want to say the Jaguars have actually had some quality wins this year.
To be fair,
their two biggest tests were their 2 worst games of the year: that Chiefs game and then the Niners game.
That's
They were
fair.
by far the worst.
just to add on, about
And they only really have one tough game. They have Cleveland. You figure out whether you think that's tough or not. Then they have Baltimore. This is going to be the number 1 seed in the AFC. They play Tampa, Carolina, Tennessee, and Cincinnati tonight.
It very well could be, but
It's
the only thing I
amazing.
also want to mention, we're talking about beating teams over 500. The only team that the Cowboys so far have beaten over 500 are the Seahawks, who then fell to 500 with that loss. So, I mean, the Cowboys, you can argue, have one win over 500, like an over 500 team. All three of these teams are definitely suspect for one reason or another. But like Jesse was saying, the Jaguars probably shouldn't be on this list. It's really the Cowboys and Dolphins that are taking the suspect test.
The Cowboys the next month: Philly, at Buffalo, at Miami, Detroit. Now's the time. We're going to figure out who they are.
Oh,
really.
they get to face all the frauds. Good for them.
Yeah. Exactly. Awesome.
Literally.
All
one
right.
after another.
Jesse, let's give you a question. You seem to want to talk. Do the Rams have a shot at making a run if they have a fully healthy offense? It came out today. Puka Nacua had an AC joint issue. He's going to play next week. But do you think they could do something if they could just get their players back on the field?
Their offenses looked outstanding when Stafford, Kyron, Kupp, and Puka are all healthy. They've been putting up 30 like nobody's business. The defense, I will admit that I was wrong at the start of the season. Their defense has been playing a lot better than what I would expect from a team where I knew maybe 2 of the starters in week 1. So shout out to the Rams. But I mean, this team is 6-6. They're 500, and they sit second in the NFC West, tied with the Seahawks, who they have already beat this year. So I think that the NFC wildcard is wide open for them to sneak in as a 7th seed. Depends who they end up facing, and if that's the case. If they were the 7th seed, they would likely face probably Philly in the first round, or Philly or San Fran, just depending who the 1 or 2 is. So I don't think that would go very well for the Rams. But with the fully healthy offense, this is a legit playoff contending team because their offense is just running.
I think you're looking for the number 2 seed. So you said Philly, but I think it's pronounced Dallas for the number 2 seed.
Dallas can't be number 2.
If they, they can. They can still.
I
catch
guess
the Eagles.
I guess they are only 1 game behind. So,
and we got a big game this Sunday night, right, Zach?
We do have a big game this Sunday night.
Can't wait for that one. So, all right.
That's very stressed. We do have a big game this Sunday night.
Hey, no, it's stressful because we're going to Dallas. It's a place where we do not win often, so I am, not looking super forward to it.
Although I think the best thing for the Eagles is that they're coming off a spanking, so at least they'll have something to ignite that fire.
Hopefully.
That's not stress. That is not stress. Let me tell you a quick story about stress. Lee
Oh
Trevino,
no, the 10-2 team has to go play a good team.
Yeah. Lee Trevino, famous golfer from well before my time, said $100,000 putt on a Sunday in the PGA, there's no pressure there. It's a $10 putt when you got $5 in your pocket. That's pressure. The Saints play the Panthers at home this week. You can't lose that game. That's pressure.
That's pressure.
Losing when you're 10-2 means nothing.
I would say it would be worse. It would be worse for the franchise if the Saints lose to the Panthers than if the Eagles lose to the Cowboys, because someone's getting fired if they lose to the Panthers.
You know what? That's all any Saints fan really wants at this point.
Yeah,
just
Pete
get him out
Carmichael,
of the door.
yeah.
Get him out of the door. All of the coaches. All right. Injury roundup from yesterday. A lot of fantasy implications. We're probably in some leagues 1 week from the playoffs, and others about 2. I'll tell you who I think is the biggest injury issue. It was Tank Dell. That guy was so money over the last 6 weeks. He had a broken bone in his leg, and he is done for the year. Any other people that you're looking at that just a terrible time to lose them?
I mean,
Jack,
Jonathan
I'll start with
Taylor. Jonathan Taylor for sure is a big one. I mean, he's out 3 to 5 weeks with he had the surgery on his thumb. I don't know what exactly the injury was, but yeah, he's out
Such
3
a
to 5
low-key
weeks.
surgery.
Oh, yeah, very low key and horrible time to lose him. I mean, he's been pretty consistent this season when he's played. And I think that for a playoff, I think a lot of good teams right now waited a little bit, used like a 5th or 6th round pick on him, got really good value out of that pick. And now here you are playoff time and you're now without him again. So I think that's a pretty brutal loss for a lot of teams.
Zach, over to you. Big injury in fantasy.
Yeah, I'm pretty intrigued by this Brian Robinson injury. Very fortunate that the Commanders do have a Week 14 bye, which I think it's ridiculous that teams have Week 14 byes to begin with, but the Commanders do, and it's a hamstring injury, and we don't know how severe it is. But if he has to miss the game in 2 weeks, we're going to know it's pretty severe. And if that possibly happens, it's going to be big implications, losing the 5th ranked running back in fantasy this season.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah,
I didn't think he was that high. That's awesome. Yeah.
At least on ESPN. I'm not sure if it's like different on other rankings, but ESPN PPR, he's 5th ranked.
He was the RB4 last week in half PPR. It was
yeah.
He's and it's funny because he's not having an insane year, but he had a few really big games that have definitely helped. But he's just been consistent, 10 points every week at least. They're going to miss him, but yeah, Week 14 bye never came in more clutch.
So
crazy.
So stash Antonio Gibson if you can make it work.
And he's probably available because he hasn't been very good. I'd say one other guy that you just hate to lose at this part of the year is Ramondre Stevenson, who had finally been turning it around. He had the most volume in the NFL, I think, in the last 6 weeks or something. Like they're not scoring any points, but they're feeding him the ball every week. So just hate to see that. They are playing on the short week, so there's no chance he plays on Thursday. Just crucial time to lose probably your RB1 or RB2. And then the other guy that you just hate to see, Amari Cooper go down, Marquise Brown. When a guy gets hurt with 0, that's just the worst in fantasy.
Yeah.
When you're like, oh, maybe I'll start someone else, and then he's like, all right, maybe I'll at least get a few points. 0, nothing. But surprisingly,
I'm piloting a new rule in my head of if your player goes out in the first quarter, that you can replace him. Like, come on, it's just insane. We got to figure that out.
But maybe
I don't know how it would work.
You would only get the points that are then scored after the injury happens from any player on your bench or something.
It's brutal.
Yeah, brutal.
I do want to name one thing. Somebody listed Derek Carr up here. Obviously, he's not in anybody's actual lineups. However, Jameis Winston loves Chris Olave. So if you have Chris Olave and Jameis is playing in that second half against the Vikings 2 or 3 weeks ago, that's the only person he threw to. So don't give up on Olave if Carr is out, because he's been on fire a little bit and Jameis loves him. So FYI from an insider. Jesse.
Yeah. I hate to say that I was the poor guy who started Derek Carr this week as my quarterback with Lamar Jackson on bye.
Is that a 46-team league?
No, it was the Lost Tribe like community.
Oh,
I had Lamar on bye, and I dropped like Jared Goff weeks ago, and it was just awful. Anyway, let's not talk about that because I'm sad. All right, we're gonna go over here. Hold on, let me make this a little bigger. How can I do this the best? That'll work. All right, so let me pull up the notes here. You guys are each going to get a chance to go. All right, so tell me why this AFC team will win a playoff game. Jack, you're going to go first.
Oh, boy.
Please get the Jets, please.
Please, Jets, please.
Oh, even worse.
Oh, my God. Well, New
Jack,
England
tell me why
Patriots.
the Patriots are going to win a playoff game.
Because it's 7.
Okay, how about this? Their
You
defense.
can tell me why they're going to win a playoff game next year if you want.
Okay, yeah, I can do that for you. I hope to God they keep Bill Belichick around because his defense through the last 3 games has held their opponents to 10 points or less every game. It is a really good defense. I still believe that. And I mean, I think they've proven it. The offense, mind you, is horrendous right now. I don't think they're technically eliminated from the playoffs this year, but they basically are, and they certainly will be with that offense. But for next season, get yourself a quarterback, get yourself some weapons, and keep that Bill Belichick-led defense around. And who knows? Maybe that's a team that sneaks into the 7 seed and pulls off a first-round upset.
All right. You know what? Good enough.
I can't do better than that. I tried my best.
All right, Zach. Tell me why this AFC team is going to win a playoff game.
Please get
Quite a
yeah,
strong
come on.
spin you got there.
That's a long spin. Oh no! Oh
The
man!
music behind that, by the way, is excellent.
It's
Yeah.
awesome.
You're asking me to tell you why the Raiders could win a playoff game this year?
They're not that far back.
They're
Yeah,
not.
they really
They're not
aren't.
that far back, and honestly, every game remaining in their schedule, you could argue is winnable. They're hosting the Vikings. They're hosting the Chargers. They did compete against the Chiefs. Let's not completely rule them out. They're going to Indianapolis and they're hosting Denver. If there's a way that they find a way to win all 5 of those games and the year 10-7, they could definitely sneak into the playoffs, I guess. And I mean, hey, maybe Devontae Adams just becomes Cooper Kupp in 2021 and just completely dominates every time he receives the ball and just becomes the best version of himself we've ever seen. Max Crosby has a dominant rest of the season, getting like 5 sacks every game. And that will carry over to the playoffs, and they'll obviously win a game on the backs of those 2.
Dude gets 25 sacks in 5
Yes.
games.
Yeah, 25 sacks in 5 games. Is that so unrealistic?
No. I mean, if they got to play the Commanders every week, maybe. But
True.
all right, Brian, tell me why
Can't
this
wait.
AFC team is going to win a playoff
I'm gonna get
game.
the Steelers. I can feel it.
Please be the Steelers, please. Oh,
Oh.
Oh, you
you
got
got
it.
an easy one. Come on.
All right. The Houston Texans. They have the Jets. They have the Titans. They have the Browns. They have the Titans. They have the Colts. They're gonna go 5-0. It's not even close in I think a lot of those games. And they currently sit at 7-5. So that makes them 12-5. They may even win their division if the Jaguars didn't have such an easy schedule. But here's the deal. Tank Dell's out. Nico Collins has to step up, and they have to find a run game. Their defense is going to be fine enough to get them where they need to be. They have to find a running game, or else they'll never win a playoff game again.
Yeah, as incredible as CJ Stroud's been, their run game is still pretty much non-existent. And they do have Damian Pierce back and Devin Singletary. The run game was actually alive when the 3 games that Singletary sat or that Singletary took over for Pierce. So maybe they should just shelf Damian Pierce for the rest of the year and see what happens. All right, I'm going to give myself a team. Let's see how lucky I can
Nice.
get.
Please be the Steelers. Please be the Steelers. I really want to see the Steelers.
Oh,
Oh, all right. Look, Tennessee Titans. If you want to play winning football, you look to none other than Will Levis. Guy throws a fumble forward, not a pick, but it gets picked. What does he do? He doesn't mope around. He doesn't Deontay Johnson and just look off to the side. He gets on his tail and he goes after the ball, forces a fumble, and recovers it. They've got King Henry in the backfield, unstoppable as always. He had 2 touchdowns last week. I know he got injured, but he's King Henry. He's not going to stay out for long. And Tajay Spears is as explosive as a number 2 back gets. DeAndre Hopkins turned back the clock. He had a touchdown. This Titans team with the right coaching from Mike Vrabel, they could make a late run. They get to face the Jaguars and the Texans. If they can pull off some upsets against those division rivals, they're right back at the top. Titans going back to the AFC Championship. They're going to knock off the Ravens. This team, let's go. And that is how you
Can't
defend
wait.
the 4-7 team.
I can't wait for Wednesday when we do this with the NFC. It's going to be much more bleak.
Oh,
Yeah, it's going to be bleak.
Uh,
Do you guys want to take another spin, or are we ready to move on?
How about this? Let's each get a bonus spin, and you have to choose a player on that team that you would buy their jersey.
All right,
Okay.
okay.
we're going to spin away. Jack. Tell me which player on this team you would buy their jersey.
Oh, God.
Are you feeling dangerous?
I
I'm
think you
definitely
are.
not. No. I think I would go with Pat Surtain. I'm a big Pat Surtain fan. He's cool.
Boring answer, but yes, good
Yeah,
call.
that's a good answer. Good answer.
I might go Cortland Sutton the way
Yeah.
he's been playing this year.
Ooh, yeah.
Actually,
Sutton's a good
Here's,
one.
here's another sneaky one. Baron Browning is so much fun to watch. I don't know if you guys have watched him at all this year, but like the way that he moves as an edge rusher, he was a converted linebacker to an edge rusher, and he is electric to watch. I might actually go Baron Browning.
I think you got to go Will Big Nuts Lutz, the best kicker in Denver.
I think if you're gonna get an orange Browning jersey, it might as well be a Jake Browning.
Exactly.
Nah,
well,
there.
don't.
Yeah.
You might get the Bengals, so you might get to
If
choose that
you
anyway.
know, if this was like historical, there's a lot of good answers. You could have also like if it was like any jersey in team history. Of course, I'm thinking the Dawkins jersey because he played for the Broncos for a bit, but I'd probably go Shannon Sharp
Yeah, that's a good
or Peyton Manning
TD, Terrell
or
Davis.
or better quarterback, John Elway.
Or Wes Welker.
Wes Welker's a good one.
Marius Thomas.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right,
That could
Zach. I'll
All
give
right.
you a spin on the wheel.
Let's see.
Oh.
All right. Look, I mean, it's pretty obvious. I feel like you have to go with King.
Can't say AJ Brown.
I said King Henry. It's got to be King Henry.
I thought he was going AJ Brown too.
I thought you were going Mayo Boy.
I mean, arguably, right now, like their best player in the 21st century. If we're going all time, though, I'm getting a Warren Moon Oilers jersey.
Not what Mayo Man?
No,
Will Levis? Come on.
I'm not getting Mayo Man.
I
yet,
just
but
hyped him up. That's the guy you want on your team.
look. I love Mayo Man. I love West Virginia being in the Mayo Bowl, but I gotta go with King Henry. And again, if all time, it's got to be Warren Moon and those Oilers.
Ooh, I like Dub C with Eddie George. That's a good call too.
Eddie George is a great
Yeah.
call.
Oh,
Great
yeah.
call.
He was the
Also,
Madden 2001 cover
I should have
athlete.
said Earl the Pearl Campbell. I could have said Earl Campbell.
Brian.
Yes,
You
I already
can't say-
have one.
You can't say Stephen Ridley.
No, I'm not going to say Stephen Ridley because I already own that one. I'm not going to say Tom Brady because that's just too easy. I'm going to go 80s fullback Moses Tutupu, New England Patriots. Look him up. The dude was unbelievable as a fullback, which back in the day, people actually used their fullbacks the right way.
Okay.
Put that aside. I think you got to go Edelman.
I was about to say that's the correct answer, Julian Edelman.
And
Nah,
you know
I
I'm
think-
going,
and
I'm
you gotta
going
get
with the
the red.
red.
The red.
Going the red. Yeah, I'm actually mad the Stephen Ridley jersey I have isn't the red version.
If I were going to Patriots jersey,
I would
I'd probably-
totally rock a red Randy Moss jersey.
Yeah, it's the
Randy
jersey I
Moss,
need.
good
All
one.
right. Who am
That
I
was gonna be
buying?
a loss, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, easy peasy. Give me Keenan Allen. He's just such an artist. I'm not getting that Justin Herbert gear until he can actually win a playoff game. So
I'm getting Herbert just because it says Herbert on the back, and Herb Jones is also a Herbert.
I'm
I'm getting Antonio Gates. That's my pick.
LaDainian Tomlinson easily.
Oh yeah,
I'm getting
good one.
Quentin Johnston. Said nobody. All
How
right,
can
that's-
you not catch the
Darren
ball as a
Sproles,
receiver in the
Darren
NFL?
Sproles, Drew Brees.
God. Anyway,
Drew Brees would be pretty sick in a Chargers
Anyway.
jersey.
all right. That's enough of the wheel for
Brian
today. Finally. All right. Well, we got one more thing for today. So, blindly defend this NFL take. Pick a number 1 to 7, Jack.
Oh, 7.
All right. Number 7. Darius Leonard will be the key to fixing the Eagles' D. You got to blindly
Ooh.
defend it with your life.
Ooh.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I can get behind that. I mean, the Eagles have a great defense to begin with. I mean, they've got talent all over the board there. They've already made a midseason acquisition for Kevin Byard. You got Big Play Slay, James Bradbury, Hassan Reddick. I mean, it's stacked defense. What are they missing? A linebacker. And you get Darius Leonard. While Darius Leonard might not be having the all-pro season this year that he's had in the past, He's had it in the past. He's got it in him. The Colts released him just because of his massive contract, but financials aside, just what he's been on the football field, he's still a really good all-pro caliber linebacker. And that's the kind of thing the Eagles could really use right now. So I actually am a big fan of that pickup for him, and I think that could really fix their defense.
Well said.
Good.
All right, Zach, pick a number.
Let's go number 3.
The Patriots are the worst team in the NFL.
Oh man. I mean, of course, I have to argue that. Look, the only team even in their stratosphere would be the Panthers, but at least we know that going into the season, they were committing to a full rebuild. The Patriots, we weren't exactly sure where they're saying, and it's just been an absolute disaster. Aside from the occasional defensive highlight, it has been an absolute disaster for the Patriots. They are the worst team in the NFL. They're going to earn their shot at Caleb Williams, I believe. It's hard to see them putting up more than one score in any football game, and even for bad teams, that's historically bad. Usually, at least those teams are able to score a couple of times. The Patriots just absolutely awful this year, and the worst team in the NFL.
All right, Brian, pick a number.
I'm going with lucky number 5 for my man Herb Jones.
The Steelers, despite being 7-5, will finish under 500.
Ooh, that's a good one. Well, if they, this is weird to say, but if Kenny Pickett is out for any extended period of time, it's probably not good for that offense. Mitch Trubisky. Now,
I'll give you their 5 remaining games. Their 5 remaining games are the Patriots, the Colts, the Bengals, the Seahawks, and the Ravens.
Yeah. So
smells like 1-4 to me.
The only one that worries me is the one this Thursday, because you have to fall backwards out of a box to lose to the New England Patriots. Like, I have no idea how you lose to that team. So they're not trying that hard. On defense, they're trying super hard. Well, let me just take that back. They're trying really hard, and they're losing 6-0. So I don't know how you lose that game. However, I feel pretty confident that they could lose the rest of them. Obviously, the Ravens and Seahawks. The Colts are still playing for something. They play them in 2 weeks, and then Browning's going to lead the Bengals on a run here. So, but I just don't see on a Thursday night how you lose to that Patriots team. It's at home. Even Mitch Trubisky could get a win here.
So are you saying they will finish under 500?
Yeah, that's what I was mandated to say. It's really, really tough. They're going to find a way to lose to the Patriots. Bill Belichick, that's his next Super Bowl is this week, Thursday night. See you there.
All right, Jack, pick another number. We got 1, 2, 4, and 6 left.
Oh, let me get number 2.
Number 2, the Texans are a scarier threat than the Chiefs right now.
Oh, God.
That's perfect that you got that one.
Oh, man.
Yeah, great. Okay.
They're only one game behind the Chiefs, by the way. 8-4 and 7-5.
That is true. And I mean, I guess if you look at the way the momentum has swung, I mean, the Chiefs were not good against the Packers on Sunday Night Football. There's no way around it. I mean, Mahomes got outdueled by Jordan Love. And when I say that, I don't mean like the Chiefs just lost the game. Jordan Love looked like the better quarterback in that game. So Mahomes definitely himself has some stuff to clean up. While the Chiefs still have a really great defense, that offense is absolutely flawed. And an offense that has not been flawed this year is the Houston Texans. I mean, you can't tell me watching that thing go. I mean, it's a well-oiled machine. CJ Stroud looks like an elite quarterback already in his rookie season. Nico Collins had an outstanding game this past weekend. Really good receiver that's emerged out there. And I think that a key for them taking that step would be going back to Devin Singletary in the run game, because he did look much better than Dameon Pierce. But I would say it's definitely feasible that the Texans, with their offense operating the way that it is, could potentially be scarier.
Jack is like our Chris Collinsworth. If you say anything bad about Mahomes, he just starts going into convulsion. He can't. His body chemistry can't deal with it.
By the way, this is the third time after Zach Wilson, Russell Wilson, and now Jordan Love. Third time Patrick Mahomes has been outplayed on primetime this year. And that's just counting those three. All right,
What
Zach.
about Jared Goff, week 1?
Yeah. You know what? 4th time. All right, Zach. 1,
Yeah.
4, or 6. Pick your
I mean,
poison.
I would love to defend that Mahomes isn't built for prime time take. That's a pretty fun take to defend. But I'm going to go with number 6.
Number 6. If the Niners stay healthy, they will win every single remaining game, including the Super Bowl.
I love it.
Jesus,
awesome.
of course I get this one.
They win out and they win the Super Bowl.
I don't know.
if they stay
This was not
healthy.
a hard one. after yesterday.
Honestly,
Jesus.
this is not a hard take to defend. They're the most complete team right now in the NFL. Hosting the Seahawks, that should be a win. Going to Arizona, if that's not a win, I'd be very concerned. Hosting the Ravens, that's probably the toughest game they have left all season, and that should be a win. That could be a Super Bowl preview right there. Ravens also look really good, but I think the Niners at home can get that win easily. Going to Washington, they should dominate. Hosting the Rams, they should dominate. And then going into the playoffs, they've proven they can compete, if not dominate, all of the opponents in the NFC playoff picture. They can easily run the table all the way to the Super Bowl, and we'll have Brock Purdy holding up the Lombardi after defeating, again, likely the Ravens, who I don't think are going to win a Super Bowl this year. Niners are easily the favorites to win it all. Niners could easily go the rest of the season without a single loss.
How about the NFC Championship? How's that going to go?
It will be a close battle, but
Unless
honestly,
Josh
right
Johnson's
now,
quarterback, the Niners will
Niners
win.
could have home field advantage the entire playoffs. If it's in San
Yeah.
Francisco, who's beating them in San Francisco realistically? Probably no one.
Yeah, 49ers over Cowboys in the championship for sure.
49ers over the Saints. All right, Brian,
No.
last pick.
Give me number
for
3.
you.
Number
It's
3.
1 or 4.
Oh, 4 minus 1 is 3. Give me 4.
All right, 4. Brock Purdy deserves the MVP award more than Dak Prescott.
Woo-wee. Okay, let's say this. Brock Purdy is about to go on a run that we have not seen before, especially from Mr. Irrelevant, all right? He knows that his health could be changed in a moment's notice, just like last year in the NFC Championship. So he's going to be firing on all cylinders. He knows he has Deebo Samuel. He knows he's got Christian McCaffrey. He knows he can mess around with George Kittle and Brandon Ayuk, and he's going to take full advantage of that offense and what they can do, because he's going to be the first Mr. Irrelevant to ever win the NFL MVP when they go undefeated the rest of the way and don't even play a one-score game in the playoffs. Brock Purdy.
Wow. I mean, every statistical metric would tell you it's Brock Purdy, but not the eye test or whoever votes for that.
Let me just
All right.
it's the one wrinkle. I know I was forced to defend that. If Tyreek Hill gets 2,000 yards, I really feel strongly they're going to give him the MVP. I really do.
They should.
So,
they should. They
If
really
there was,
It
if there was
is-
ever a year for there not to be a quarterback MVP,
It's
it would
this
be
year.
this year.
this year. Yeah.
So his odds as of last week were 45-1. This week they're 18-1 after the game he had
Good.
yesterday.
Good,
Wow.
as they should be. They should be better. They should be better than that. Like Tyreek Hill,
Yeah.
to me, bare minimum top 3 MVP candidate at this point.
All right, you guys successfully dodged the Minesweeper bomb of this last take. The Packers are a playoff team was the number 1
Ooh.
take. So I'll defend
That's
that
a
one. And I'll
bomb?
say, well, no, not the bomb. It's just you guys picked every take except that one. So the Packers are a playoff team. Hell yeah, they are. I mean, we got this. The NFC is not very deep. You got the Cowboys at the 5 seed or the Eagles, depending how that falls out. Then I think you got the Rams and the Seahawks fighting each other. I don't think that they both make it. It's going to be one of those teams, and then it's between the Packers and the Vikings. And the Vikings are on the downward, and the Packers are on the up. So Packers, they're coming for that 7th seed. Nobody from the South is going to make the wild card. The Packers are probably going to have a better record anyway, but doesn't matter. They're going to be a wild card team. Jordan Love, he's better than Mahomes at this point. I think we can all agree. Packers, they might be the ones to beat San Francisco this year, doing something Aaron Rodgers never could.
I think the Packers could get to the 6th seed. I think they could be better than both the Seahawks and the Rams. Like, I think there's a world where that happens. I haven't looked up their schedule, but
Honestly, at this point in time, that might be my take. Like, I think I was so impressed with the Packers yesterday. I legitimately, Jordan Love looked unbelievable. I'm swallowing my words. I said either a week ago or 2 weeks ago that Jordan Love wouldn't win a playoff game the next 3 years. And I think I'm already ready to go back on that. The Packers look so good right now. I think they actually will.
he's got at the Giants, home the Bucks, at the Panthers, at the Vikes, home to the Bears. They could go undefeated.
And 11-6 after the start they had, they go 11-6 and get like the 3 seed in the NFC.
I mean,
I'm telling you, playing the NFC South
Not
helps.
the 3 seed.
I don't think they should realistically be the underdog in any of those games. They
Right.
should be favored in all.
I mean, coming off a win against Detroit and Kansas City, I mean, you just beat one of the best teams in either conference. So
The Bears
They're
are probably their toughest game in that, and the Bears are their little brothers. So
don't even say the Bears are tough. All right. That takes us to the end of that segment. That was a lot of fun, though. I think we're going to be back with some more of that next week. And we'll do Tell Me Why That NFC team is going to be a playoff team. That'll be a hoot. Monday Night Football starting in about 15 minutes. We're a little bit early this week. Any news about the in-season tournament coming up as well?
Oh, just Pelicans by 50 tonight.
Well, that's what I was wanting to hear.
So one thing I do want to say. So starting this Thursday night, Lost Tribe Hanukkah, 8 days of giveaways. We are hosting Friday night a Madden Invitational tournament, which is going to be awesome. And next Monday's Pass the Rock is going to be hours of action. A lot of the great stuff like that's here already, plus trivia and other games. Everybody's bringing a game. They're not going to tell the rest of us what it is, and we're going to see how that rolls. Any other thoughts on that? We're giving away a PS5, an Xbox. We're giving away all sorts of stuff. So
Can't wait for Hanukkah. It's going to be a blast on Monday as well. Yeah, Monday's special episode of PTR. There's going to be some sports trivia, some chances for everybody to win some gift cards, Discord Nitro if you don't have it already. If you're a nerd like Jack. Also, midday on Friday before the Invitational, me and Zach are going to be playing some Madden live on our TikTok as well. So make sure you check us out on Friday. We're going to be streaming this Wednesday. Again, we have our fantasy or trivia show as well, 12:30 Friday during the day, Friday night, Monday. We got lots of streams this week. Going to be a lot of fun.
can we get a Patriots-Panthers matchup when y'all play each other in Madden?
Why?
You know what? I will play with
fun.
the Patriots online and see how many games I can win out of 17. I'll guarantee it's more than 2.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
let's see it.
Nice. All right, fellas, it's been good. Let's check out some Monday Night Football, some in-season tournaments, a lot of stuff. The day is young. There's still many hours left. So it was fun. We'll see you on Wednesday.
Diggy on the platform.